It's July 26th and I am at Roman Nose Lakes. And I've been wanting to do this hike for many years, and finally today I said today is the day. And it's a glorious, perfect day. So come along with me. The access road getting here was really pretty good. I didn't need four-wheel drive for it, so I'm pretty sure any vehicle could make it up here. And there's lots of side roads to take and lots more hiking trails on the way up. So that's pretty cool. Lots to explore around here. I must say though, do not rely on your GPS in getting here. It failed me. I ended up on some logging road, and thankfully a nice logging truck driver, I'm sure he was a Mennonite guy, stopped and pointed me in the right direction. He was driving a huge truck full of logs and he stopped for me. I thought that was pretty amazing, and drew me a map and showed me how to get here. And then another nice couple helped me out just a little bit because the roads are not marked here on how to get to Roman Nose. So I had to ask, but Americans are so nice and friendly. I'm very grateful. Great camping spots here. So might have to do that this summer. I just heard what sounded like a horse coughing, but I'm pretty sure there's no horses up here. So it was probably a bear choking on some berries. So this is gonna be a fun trek. And well, at least I have you guys to talk to if I'm hiking by myself. I can talk to the camera and to you. That's what you're supposed to do when you hike alone is, well, when you hike, you're supposed to talk with people. So thank you for coming along so I can talk to you guys. Stuff going on up here. Loving it. The topic of conversation today is going to be a heavy one, but it needs to be talked about, and it's perfect timing. This looks like a great place to have a picnic, so that's what I'm gonna do. I made these tofu, well, I guess I will call them jerky, tofu jerky. They're baked tofu and they're so good. And my mom says they taste just like chicken. Very nice. Very savory. Yummy. Well, that was a delightful stop eating all that food. I am full to the brim and now I'm good to go. My pack is so much lighter now too. The mountain ash and the huckleberry bushes are just so brilliant. Who else grew up watching the Cosby Show? Didn't you just love the Huxtables? And Bill Cosby was so hilarious. And his Jell-O commercials. I remember the pudding. He was so cute, and he loved kids, and he's just so funny. And so yesterday I was reading that he is sentenced to prison for 10 years, and he has to serve 3 of those years. Like, there is no parole before 3 years. And so, honestly, what is this world coming to? If Bill Cosby, of all people, has a sexual perversion, honestly, it is so sad. Nobody in their right mind does those things. But he sure put up a good cover-up, didn't he? Wow, I am just so shocked still. So if there's any men watching, I'm gonna show you some nice trail scenery, and you'll get a good idea of the surrounding area and the hike that I've done, and then you can leave, because I need to talk to the ladies for the rest of this trail. Okay, men, I've given you fair warning. It's time to turn off the video. If you choose to stay, proceed at your own risk. But it's time for me to talk to the ladies that are viewing. All right, ladies, this Cosby thing has really gotten me to thinking. And how many of you would you say have experienced sexual overtones from men, like inappropriate remarks, lewd remarks, inappropriate touching? My heart says that it's probably 100% of us, but I'll give the benefit of the doubt and say maybe there's a select few that have not, but I'm guessing maybe 98% of us have experienced these kind of things. So sad. So real though, isn't it? When I was probably 12-ish years old, I'm guessing, I was found with 4 boys in a hayloft, and of course thought we were just playing up there, but they decided they wanted me to take my shirt off, and there was no way I was going to do that, and I was about ready to jump out the high opening in the hayloft there. So thankfully they relented after a while, but that was crazy. And then how many of you have ever played doctor as a kid with older relatives? And I've experienced a high school teacher that would tickle me. That's not right. Never mind patients that have made inappropriate comments. Yeah. Or how about hugs from men that like to grope you? I've had that. I could tell way worse stories too, but I won't. This is a public forum. Anybody can watch this, I guess, so they don't need to know the gory details. But my heart does go out to all the women out there who have suffered at the hands of men. I'm not a man hater though. There are so many nice gentlemen out there. I don't cast all men under the same condemning blanket. There is a story in the Bible about a woman who had an issue of blood for 12 years. Oh, can you imagine that poor lady? She needed a hysterectomy. I can't imagine having to bleed for 12 years. Anyway, so back in those days, a woman who was bleeding was considered unclean and pretty much an outcast. So imagine the life of isolation that she led. But she knew that if she could just touch the hem of Jesus' garment, she knew that she would be healed. And so when Jesus came through her town, she was able to accomplish that. and touch his garment. And there was a throng all around Jesus, pushing and jostling and trying to get his attention. But as soon as she touched him, he goes, "Who touched me?" And his disciples laughed at him and said, "What do you mean, who touched you? There's all kinds of people right close to you." But he knew that his healing power had gone out from him because of the faith of that lady. So she had to confess that it was her that touched him, and then she told her story of how she was healed and what she was healed from. And I think that's so beautiful. I think that Jesus wants us to reach out to him, because of course he knew that that was going to happen, and of course he made his way toward her in that throng. So he comes to us, but then we must reach out to him and touch him and desire for healing. And then he wants us to tell our story to others. So I would encourage you to reach out to Jesus and let him heal you. Have you felt unclean or dirty or an outcast because of any sexual abuse you have suffered or molestation? I have experienced it for myself. It is such a burden lifted once you give it to God and let him heal you of your past, and then tell the world about it or tell somebody about it. My heart just goes out to each and every one of you who has had to experience this invasion of your body, of your mind, of your soul from some man. I don't know why men do this. I don't get it. But please know that there is healing. There is, God wants to take that from us and lift our burdens. So I would highly encourage you to look to Jesus and reach out your hand and touch him and see what he can do for you.
The soul that responds to the grace of God shall be like a watered garden. His health shall spring forth speedily. His light shall rise in obscurity, and the glory of the Lord shall be seen upon him. Let us then remember the loving kindness of the Lord and the multitude of his tender mercies. Let us set up our stones of witness and inscribe upon them the precious story of what God has wrought for us. And as we review his dealings with us in our pilgrimage, let us, out of hearts melted with gratitude, declare, "What shall I render unto the Lord for all his benefits toward me? I will take the cup of salvation and call upon the name of the Lord. I will pay my vows unto the Lord now in the presence of all his people."
That's pretty fresh stuff. Why do bears insist on going to the bathroom on our trail? Can't they go in the woods like you're supposed to? So I would have to say that the healing hiker rating for this trail is a 4.5 out of 5. It's quite a ways to drive and get here, and the trail is not very well marked. I missed out on seeing 2 lakes because the markers were not very prominent. And I met a couple of people that used to work at the Forestry Service area, and she said she made maps for a living. What are the chances? Anyway, she said that it is terrible here, and she was not very impressed either. So that's the only drawback. Otherwise, it's a fabulous little loop trail, a lot of bang for your buck and not that strenuous. So I still would recommend people coming. I really enjoyed myself. And maybe someday I'll come back and hit those 2 lakes. So you ladies, if you need somebody to talk to about what you have experienced, I would love for you to write to me. You don't have to give a public comment on this video, but I have an email address that I've supplied, and also you can send me a letter. I have a mailing address as well, and I would love to hear from you and hear your stories and what you've been through, and I promise that I will respond to you. So until my next epic adventure, assalamu alaikum, shalom, peace.